And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 312. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with Daramouthe. And this is going to be his first appearance on the show. We've been planning this for quite some time. Not as long as me and my wife plan on getting married, because as you guys know, she is a couch, and I can't talk to a couch because that is an inanimate object. Or wait a minute, maybe I'm secretly married to Sydney Sweeney, and you guys just don't know that yet.
Yeah.
As you guys know, I love the white ladies with the big boobs. They tend to be a weak spot for me. I think the biggest weak spots for women for me, Mexican women with black hair and white women with blonde hair. Just oh God, Mexican women that talk to you a certain way with that accent that they have and speaking Spanish. It's like, oh my God. Well, we're going to be getting into a lot of fun conversations here. But since this is Daramouthe's first time on the show, we're going to just get this out of the way. That way, if you come back for a second and third appearance, months down the road, years down the road, this is already out of the way. So how was your life growing up, actually? We'll just start there.
Like most kids' life are busy, hectic, and sometimes annoying. But then again, who cares about the annoying part? No, it was okay. It certainly certainly was busy for most of it. But then again, after a certain point, you start forgetting some of it, and you're mostly just like, what am I gonna do today? Because you're mostly, as an adult, you got to pay bills and all that stuff, and then there's work and all the things that come with it. So your mind is preoccupied with majority of the stuff. But other than that, it was all right. I can complain, but then no one would really listen. So there's that.
Okay. Did you have a single mom household, or you had the dad and the mom? Because you're white, so you guys have the two-parent households. I didn't have a dad, so that's usually how it goes, actually.
Yeah, well, I have both parents. I know there's some families who don't either mom or dad because there are single
Yeah.
dads out there. So
Yeah.
you got that. But no, I have both parents. So luckily, they're still both alive. So it's always a good thing.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Oh, I even forget. There are some people that are raised by their grandparents because
Oh,
both
that's
the
true.
parents left. That's
Yes.
that's crazy. That you would at least mostly guarantee you get the one parent and then the
Mm-hmm.
grandparents. There are some people that have no parents that raised them. It's just the grandparents or maybe the aunt. Like I never understood this. Like why even have kids if you just are gonna up and leave? Like I just don't get it. And that kid grows up and then they discover that you like abandoned them, then it's more resentment and hate. It's just, good Lord, people are just can show you the worst of themselves when they're, in situations they can't handle. Because I've been seeing a lot of people just crack under pressure when there's like no pressure there, But I understand being a parent, just there's a whole ton of pressure that goes along with that. So after high school, did you end up going to a college or university, or you just joined the workforce after high school?
Oh no, I just went to go to work. I got my GED, so there's that. But
Oh,
beyond
okay.
that point, yeah, beyond that point, I just went to work. Obviously, because you got to pay bills after a certain point. You can't have a car without cash. That is the most
Really?
true statement. Yes, can't have a car
So
without cash.
you never thought about just putting on a ski mask and going to San Francisco and then hot wiring one by breaking in a window of a car?
Oh well, that'd be too far away from me, and San Francisco is not really much worth it. So there you got that. But
So you're 3
yeah,
hours ahead of me. So it's like 5:13 for you. Which state are you in? I'm in California.
in Indiana. Yeah, I'm in Indiana. I'm
Indiana.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I've said that a few times before, but usually I let because a lot of people I talk to are hours and hours ahead of me, so I can understand the time difference. It's not fun, especially when you have
So
to feel like,
okay.
yeah.
So that means, are you a fan of the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark?
No idea who that is.
So you're not a sports fan. You're not a traditional sports guy.
Other than maybe the Harlem Globetrotters and maybe the Olympics, that's pretty much it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you start your content creator journey? Like, was there someone that you watched that you were inspired by and you just started doing it? Or did you come to the realization you wanted to do this after maybe like having conversations with people and kind of shooting the shit in real life? And you're like, okay, I want to do this in more of a, you know, content creator sense.
I think it was more of like you had the trail there, but again, I had to start doing it because you've probably been in those chat rooms where a content creator, people are asking a content creator like, "Oh, how do you start?" Right?
Mhm.
And they tell you mic and camera and all that stuff. But it's really just trial and error of like what to do because was playing games from the begin, from the first start. I actually was uploading videos and then I was streaming like me playing games. That didn't really pan out. So it was sort of just like a happenstance. You just arrive at the moment, and that's pretty much what just happened. Is I just arrived there after kind of going through stuff, because a lot of people are already playing games. You really don't need any more game part of the platform because pretty much all platforms have that.
Yeah. So you went from basically just gameplay, uploading videos to just streaming, you know,
Well,
podcasts actually.
well, the gaming was streamed too. The gaming was
Okay.
streamed too. And so that was part of that ordeal, but it was streamed uh, along with the uploading videos. But then um, after a certain point, it was just like, okay, there's this thing here I can do, and it just
Mhm.
kind of went from there.
Okay.
It was experimenting, really.
This is the thing that nobody knows when you kind of do this thing and set it up, especially when it's one-on-ones. Like I've told
Mm,
people this before, you know, when you talk to someone in this kind of format, if
mm,
someone is one of those people, because I'm pretty sure you've had this experience before, because anyone that's did what we've done understands what I'm going to bring up here, which is
mm,
you bring people on, you think like, okay, it's going to be a great conversation because the previous ones went really, really good. It was interactive, it was fun. You bounced ideas, you went in depth what you're talking about. Then you'll get that one person, or very, very, it's quite a bit of people that'll give you like the one word answers, and it's like, are you here to have a conversation? Are you like here to fuck with me? And then you just get that feeling that they don't care. So like that's what I ended up running into it,
mm,
like at some point. It's like there would be a banger here and there, but then like
mm.
every so often there would be a person that would come on, say they would come on willingly. They say they like the show. You come on,
Yeah.
they just freeze up and can't talk. It's like, and I don't know how to take that. Is like, hey, do you not care enough? Do you just think this is whatever? Or are you just shy? Because some people are just, kind of reserved, and you gotta have to unlock them with certain questions, and then they can really start going. I remember
Mm,
one person that I brought on, he wanted to promote his comic book, and I brought him on, I think, my other podcast, which was the Iron Man one I had on Rumble and X and Twitch, and then before I had this show. And all
mm,
I told him, because the first time we had a show, he just,
mm,
it wasn't that he was not talking, it was more like just, it was just in a very, he was just in a very odd headspace. And
mm,
then I just said, hey man, this time you come on, just be a little bit more talkative. This is the only criticism I've given this person. Just be a
mm,
little bit more talkative. That's it. Because when you're doing this, people want to hear you talk for an hour, 30 minutes plus, generally speaking, or hour 10, right? Like people
right.
don't like seeing someone talk, and then the person that they're talking to like look like they're not giving a shit, because then you get blamed for how bad the episode is. Like, damn, it's like, hey, there's only so much I can do. Like if someone's not giving me enough, then I just started yeeting those shows. So anytime someone came on and I felt like it was going to be a 10-minute conversation, I was like, well, I'm done. That's just how it's going to
Mm,
go. Because I'm not going to sit here and waste my time with someone who obviously clearly doesn't care. Because if they were on someone else's channel, which I've seen some of these people go on other channels, they're talkative, they're interacting quite a bit. It's like, okay, you just clearly are just disrespecting the show. You just disrespecting my time. So,
right.
I'm pretty sure you've had those experiences too doing this, because man, are those just like pulling teeth in those episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it happens that you can either have someone who's a bit shy, which obviously is the case, or people who've never been on before and don't know how to do it, or some people just don't know the right words, and that's understandable. I mean, I think very rarely have I ever ran into someone who's very disrespectful because I don't take it that way, because you don't know if they are or aren't. If you're seeing them on other shows and they're being more open than they are in yours, then you either ask yourself the question: Is it
Is it
maybe
me or is
I'm?
it you? It's an old breakup line, remember? Is it me or is it you?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you never know, but yeah, exactly. Like Wendy here. Wendy's
See, that
from
I
the
understand. That's an understandable thing. Like language, like not let's say language barriers, but that could also be
mm,
a thing too. Like accents and language barriers, those two in
mm,
tandem, those are
yeah,
understandable. But if
mm,
someone is like clearly you can see not giving an effort, I
Mm.
just find that rude. You know what I mean? Like, you were invited, you wanted to come on, put in some effort. You know, I get
Right.
this is all like free. We're not getting paid to do this shit. I'm partnered on. I'm not even partnered on YouTube. I've already been monetized. I could be monetized if I put in the information to do it. I don't give a fuck to. But
Mm.
it's what we're at this point where we're doing this because we are generally having fun doing it. It's like, hey, I want to show people when they watch these episodes on a replay, you can have a great time when you watch the show, and your
Mm.
name's on the show. Like, people, when they watch your show, they know it's you're the ones hosting it. It's like, people
Yeah.
are going to think, why would he have this person on? But you don't know that going into it. I don't know if this person's going to freeze up. If you've had like, let's say, if you had like 20 guests and 15 of them were all talkative, great conversation people, then you had the other 10 that were just awful. Kind of makes you go, okay, maybe I should probably see this person's content before, because now for me, I'll watch someone's videos and see like, okay,
Mm.
can this person actually hold a conversation? If they can, I'm like, yeah, it's just not gonna happen.
Well, I mean, if that's the way you want to go about it, sure. But I mean, I've not. Whenever I invite someone on, I usually don't look at what they do or whatever because I'm about having a conversation with someone. The person who is not, what's the word for it? Who's not as talkative or as expressive as one wants, doesn't mean that they're not a person who doesn't want to talk. Like you mentioned earlier, they could be anxious or whatever. So those are people that are
Mhm.
a challenge to you because they could help better you and being one who can draw out, like you also said earlier. So the question then becomes is do you see them as rather just a waste of time, or do you see it as an opportunity to improve yourself? That's the real question.
That's the challenge thing too. Is do you see the effort in doing that, or do you see it like, okay, well, on to the next, as most people would say? But I remember we did talk on the show. It's
Rumble
the show you
squared.
do, yeah,
Yeah, Rumble
and
squared.
yeah. So that's where most of the conversation is going to end up leading to, because Rumble as a platform, I ended up discovering because people that I knew of and had on the shows kept talking about it, and I
Mm,
had something happen with me in YouTube, so I
right.
pretty much was only going to do a podcast through Rumble and Twitch and X, and then I'm just
Mm,
gonna upload the highlights of it as videos to my YouTube channel,
right.
after this other situation I had with YouTube previously. But
Mm,
then I realized the more that I streamed to Rumble, despite having pretty good viewership, I mean, I think I had pretty good viewership there. It was better than Twitch. It was better than, like, X and Rumble were pretty even as far as viewership, but Twitch is pretty bad,
mm,
honestly. It Twitch is pretty awful. And then going to Rumble, it's like, the viewership is better, but the more I did it, like, I did it basically like 7 days a week with the regular
right.
stuff I would normally do,
Mm,
there was no real, like, tangible growth there. And people would say,
mm,
well, maybe your content needs to improve. I don't think I have to improve. I've been doing this for like more than 10 years. Now at the end of this year, it'll be 10 years I've been doing this. I know how to make good stuff now. There's no like
mm,
learning curve I need to know. Like,
right.
I know I'm producing good stuff because I've seen results in other places. So I know it's not me. And then
Mm,
other people started having those exact same thoughts in my head that I was actually having. They started having tweets very similar to the thoughts I was having, and I was like, God damn. Like, so it's not just me. Rumble really is just a whole can of worms to open for a lot of people. It's
mm.
it's weird because I think you'd asked me what I liked about it. I think,
That was one of the questions. Yeah.
yeah, so I think template. You can use that template, which is very, very
Mm,
cool. You could just hit a button and everything's already set from your previous stream, so you don't have to just go and make a stream from scratch.
right.
That's really cool. I do like their VOD storage is very, very it's something that Chris has talked about, VOD storage being a very big priority for them. I like those
Mm,
things. Like Twitch and Kick, and well, not X, like Twitch and Kick, which is other big streaming platforms, they don't have you keep your VODs up. They just
no.
expire. It's so
Yeah.
crazy how your content could just expire. It's like, I
Yeah.
never got that as logic, but I understand why Twitch doesn't keep their VODs, because it's a lot of money. So the
Right.
things that I liked about Rumble were, the VODs stay up
Mm,
and you have the templates. Those are really
mm,
cool things. But other than those, and there's probably something else that I'm forgetting, but outside of like maybe two or three things, when
mm,
people say the platform is good, it's like, I don't get this thing like, why do people have to lie to themselves? I think people are actually lying to themselves, but they want to convince themselves that something is way better than it actually is. Because
mm,
me and you have both seen it. It's not
mm,
good. Like, from everything you've experienced, I've experienced, I don't think it's that great. Like, yeah, it's better than the other alternatives. That's like the Star Wars argument, you know, with the prequel trilogy and the
Mm,
new Disney trilogy. People are like, well, the
right.
prequels are better than the Disney ones because they're actually this, and that, and third. It's like, yeah, they're slightly better, but that doesn't make them good. You know,
Mm,
I don't go through my life judging things. Well, it's slightly better if I gave you a plate of shit and then I gave you a plate of plate of dog shit. Yeah, the
mm,
human one is probably gonna maybe not saying I did this, taste better, but that doesn't make it any less shit, you know?
mm,
Like, it feels like people are making really horrible apt comparisons for something that isn't actually good either, you know?
mm.
But it's just the
Yeah.
better alternative than the other two shittier alternatives, you know?
Mm.
So what's your general thoughts about Rumble now that you've had a chance to kind of simmer on a lot of it after the whole like ad reads they apply to the partner program? Because I know you said you were pretty much not going to be a part of that when they implemented the ad read as mandatory.
Well, the point was, I mean, you can still be in the creator program and not get paid. You just have to meet a few requirements and you stay in, but you don't get paid. But I mean, the stuff was even before the ad reads. The ad reads was just a push in the direction. And I was already at that point anyway, so there's nothing there. But I mean, all the stuff I've done, the Rumble Square that you came on was one of many, and that was just all that feedback collected and all that stuff. But I mean, the stuff that's been going on with Rumble has been longer than, I mean, probably as long as most people. And I can agree that maybe some people are lying themselves. Maybe some people are just what's that word? Hopium, I guess. I don't know.
Drink the Kool-Aid. That's what you used to say back in the day, remember?
Yeah, well, that's true. But then again, everyone experiences platforms differently, and I can't deny someone's experience. I can't deny someone's experience of what they experience on, say, YouTube, for instance, versus like Twitch, right? Someone's better on Twitch than they are on YouTube, or say they go to Kick, right? And even though Kick is a Twitch clone, obviously, someone could be better on Kick than Twitch, right? Or Twitch than YouTube. Or everyone experiences platforms differently. But it does come to the point of like with Rumble and what it preaches. And obviously, the free speech thing is great, but that's a small selling point to the total of what they want to do. And I
Mhm.
mean, right now, it's just you're going to have a lot of people stay away because the first thing they see in the platform is the thing that confirms them of what the platform's about.
Mhm.
So,
Also, the other thing to go into Rumble as far as that point, which
mhm,
is politics. So Rumble being essentially a free speech absolutist platform is great. I think that
mhm,
is a great priority and moral principle to have. I think that is awesome. But
mhm,
that should not go as far as not having an established direction, because essentially that would just be like the Wild Wild West as a concept that people had for a while ago, like where there's no rules or anything. It's like, you play like you play games, right? People would say like this game would be better if there are no rules. Well, like
mhm,
no, because rules make things challenging. Rules make you have to think outside of the box. Rules make you think differently about stuff. Rules make you
right,
question certain things. So their platform essentially is literally as long as you're not a terrorist, you can't get banned here. Literally, as long as you're not endorsing terrorism, you're not banned here. But the problem with that is, I'm not saying these people should be removed from the platform because do you remember the whole Dunkin' Donuts fiasco that Chris went through, where the
as well
Dunkin'
back, yeah.
yeah, remember where the Dunkin' Donuts like marketer person that does their sponsorships and
Mhm,
that alcohol person they wanted sponsoring them from LA were like, hey, you have to remove these people for us to give you
yeah.
money. I
Mhm,
actually like that Chris didn't do that. That's good. You don't like if they're saying, hey, I'll give you money to remove these people. No, he shouldn't do that. I didn't disagree with him about that.
mhm,
But you probably could have got that money from those people because obviously they have advertisers, so they need the money.
mhm,
Probably not make them front and center for your platform, like don't make them as front and center, try to market people that are doing gaming, movie reviews, maybe TV show reviews, anything like that, anything
mhm,
centered on the average thing a person is going to want to go when they watch on YouTube. Like people on YouTube watch all kinds of things.
yeah,
Like there's people literally sitting on live streams watching a show they've watched billions of times when they were a kid and into their
mhm,
adult life watching it on loop. Yeah, there's people there not wanting to care about anything politic wise or anything else. They're just there to just maybe sit on a live stream and watch the 80s, 90s G.I. Joe cartoon.
yeah,
That's it. There's
it's true.
24/7 hour sorry, there's 24/7 loop streams of cartoons and there's movies on there on YouTube because YouTube a lot more established. I understand
Yeah.
that, but that should be the person you're marketing to. The average casual that is just going to want to check out Rumble and just go there to be entertained. That's it. Now,
Mm,
if politics do entertain people, that's fine, but
mm,
that's because they made that the first thing people should be caring about that platform for. If they had
mm,
made it so, hey, you should care about this stuff and politics added, I think that should have been a better strategy. And like
mm,
the thing you said earlier, sorry, when we were talking on your Rumble chat a few weeks ago, when you
mm,
said that it should make a For You page, I never thought of that. That's something they need to make. They need to make a For You page. Why they don't have a For You page is utterly insane at this point. Because remember
mm,
how people kept asking for an autoplay button so your video would just auto go to the next one? They made it. They made it
mm.
instantly because that's what you need. Like when someone watches this content creator, video ends, and you go to the next one. You
Right.
know, that was a great thing that they implemented. They've been talking about shorts. Still not here. Still
Yeah.
not here.
Most
You know?
likely not gonna happen this year either. But no, they do have a For You page, but it's not really. It's not. It's the recommendation of stuff, and it is not great. I was more of talking on that their front page needs to be the For You page, like how you can
Yes.
go to
Yeah.
the
You're
front.
right. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you can go to YouTube. Well, honestly, I will give them this though. Um, they don't uh, YouTube forces you to have a Gmail account in order to
Mm-hmm.
use and create on it. Uh, Rumble, they don't force you. I mean, if you want to chat and comment in the chats, you kind of have to be verified. But beyond that point, they don't force you to have a Rumble account, a Rumble mail or something like that. But YouTube does. So that's something that can be kind of inspired by. But that's kind of where that small point ends because again, their For You page or the front page really is the first is sort of like you go to a restaurant, right? And you've ever heard of the term front of the house, back of the house, right? For those that work there, whatever. So the front of the house that Rumble have goes lands right on that editor's pick parcel, right? If you go right now to the front page or to the front of Rumble, you're gonna land on editor's pick and then maybe the category list underneath. Point of the matter, though, is that dissuades people from coming on the platform because that confirms what they've heard, what they've seen of what Rumble already is, and that's politics. But
Mm-hmm.
I think more or less Rumble will set themselves up in a catch-22 where they really have a hard time getting out of that, and gaming's not going to get them there. To be honest, it's just
Yeah,
not.
yeah, I agree. And the other thing to add to that is people would say, but they have gaming. I mean, guys, I've checked the numbers. Rumble gaming is horrible. Not like the people there. I'm talking about the actual numbers. When you go and look at it, all of
Mm,
this push that everyone's been making with Rumble gaming, it's not. I mean, what's the saying in business? It's not even a drop in the bucket. That wouldn't even be a bucket. That would be like, how all that drop comes from the sky for like rain? It
mm,
literally evaporated midway through before it even touched your skin. Like
yeah.
all of this push for gaming on Rumble hasn't really done anything, honestly. I mean, there's been more people more vocal about it, and there's
Mm,
been a little bit more increase in viewership, but it's nothing significant at all, like just in general. Because
mm.
so I'm under this mindset, and maybe you have thought the same thing. What if people do know about Rumble? They just don't give a fuck about it. Have you ever thought about that too? Like maybe they actually do know it exists, but they just don't care. You know?
I guess people who've been burned by the platform would feel that way, that they don't care. I think people who, um, I think people who just get the confirmation that Rumble is a politics platform end up not caring or whatnot because again, first impression is sometimes all you have, and when you have places like YouTube, obviously what we're on, or Twitch, or Kick, and you're trying to compete against those platforms, and your most selling point is day one monetization, freedom of speech, maybe using Rumble Studio, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
After a while, the things that kind of help make a platform better, or the things that would help make a platform better, and they keep getting ignored to some degree. I mean, people are just gonna start slowly walking away. Many, of course, after that five ad thing that wasn't communicated,
Oh
certainly
yeah,
turned people off. Yeah, so there's
yeah.
that. Rumble has a communication problem and a confirmation bias problem, and unfortunately, there's just no clear way of how they're going to go about getting past that. So, but I can understand the what you meant earlier about uh people kissing the ring, basically. But I don't. Some do, not all.
Yeah, because I've never was like that. I've always been a person that has always just said how I feel, to my detriment and to my benefit too. So I think what really started the platform going downhill for me, as far as like my overall perception, because I do want it to succeed. People always looked at my criticism on Twitter and went, "This guy's just a hater." It's because he didn't had nothing to do with that. I want it to succeed. I'm telling you this harsh stuff because I want you to hear what I said, and then take what you can that you think is valuable, and then leave it at the rest of the door. That's
Mhm.
what people had not understood with what I was trying to say. It's like no one is telling them these hard things. I really doubt people are telling them as hard of things. There might be a few, like you said. I do believe there's the outliers, obviously. But
Mhm.
then I remember, I think you commented under that post with that one guy. There was this one guy of like a month ago or a few months
Mhm.
back where it was the radio guy. Remember, he had all these viewers, he had all
Joe
these
Pags,
platforms he was
yeah.
on. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, "Hey, I'm doing all this stuff for your platform. I'm just not getting the attention." And then I think we in the thread were talking about like the algorithm and stuff like that, and
Mm.
just kind of the way Chris talked to that guy was just So basically, Chris ended up saying, what was the thing he said? It was a tweet where he said, like, if we could
Yeah.
feature every single creator, we could. That's already where the logic stops. Like, it's like when that guy talks, he talks like in one sentence. I can already just go like wrong. So
Mm.
we'll go over that, and then we'll go over the rest of the stuff. So that first thing Chris said to that guy, where he says, if we could feature everyone, we could. Features, like you mentioned in one of your shows, I like watching the replay because I wanted to
Mm.
get your point about this. Take away that stupid editor's pick. So when people say, so I think another guy, I forget his name, he's always the guy that's pushing Rumble. He says, well, you would never ask YouTube for a feature. You don't. This is where I know people are absolutely just straight up disingenuous morons. You would
Mm.
never need to ask YouTube to be featured
Mm.
because YouTube has such a big, large amount of people that use the platform. You are
Mm.
going to organically get people to see your stuff given how big it is. I'll take myself, for example. I have a comic book channel that I started from scratch because I just wanted to talk about comic books and manga separate away from this channel because it's good to have those things separate. Those things are separate because I saw the videos get uploaded. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to take all my comic book content off of here, delete it all, and to just re-upload a lot of it on my comic book channel, along with new content. Started
Mm.
it from scratch. It has almost 250 subs on it.
Mm.
And I just uploaded videos consistently there. And those videos did very, very well. Some did worse than others. Obviously, there's outliers.
Yeah.
But I remember I started that channel from scratch, nothing there, and it grew. I didn't ask, no features, no trending page.
Mm.
You don't need to do that. I just don't get why he said that. There's no need for that on YouTube because like you said before, the viewer base is too big. Like you
Mm.
don't need a feature. The reason why you
Yeah.
do featured on Rumble is because there's not that many eyes on the platform and watching people's stuff. So the only way to get seen is to get featured. Like
Mm.
they're not even close to the same. Like I don't need features on Rumble. Like I
Mm.
never asked for them. But the reason why I don't need features on YouTube is because I know if I do the best content that I can, barring
Mm.
YouTube's own bullshit, it's gonna get seen
Mm.
by people. The sidebars, recommendations, how the algorithm works on YouTube, you will get, unless your content is straight up trash, then no one's gonna care. Unless you're actually garbage. That's different. But you never need to get featured on YouTube. It's impossible. And like you said on
Mm.
your show, the reason why people want to get featured on Rumble is because now the ad reads, and when someone's saying, "Oh, but it's no big deal being featured," okay, then tell Rumble to stop featuring you. Then they would never do that because that's ridiculous. You know,
Well, I was about to say, are you sure you're not talking about Sniper Wolf on YouTube?
Sniper Wolf, the white dude,
No,
white.
no, it's the girl who does a lot of like react and
Oh,
makeup
the
stuff.
black
Yeah,
haired chick.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The one with the
That.
boyfriend suing her for everything she
Yeah,
has.
yeah,
That one. Oh god,
yeah. That.
that fucking lady. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, Daramouthe. Who are you watching in your free time, man?
I just know she exists. But no, this is to what Chris said. This is to what Chris said. It's hard to feature every creator. It
Mm-hmm.
really is. In fact, this is our number one complaint I see these days. If we could feature every creator, we would. It's hard to watch creators only stream to YouTube, but require homepage features to multi-stream to Rumble. Well, that's a personal issue then, I guess. But you can't expect people to stream over to Rumble and not have some form of discovery. And it's just that's
Or the
that's
tweet
where it at.
before that, remember the tweet before that when he was talking about it was when do you remember the when they made the rule in the partner program that you had to have like 20 like 15 20 unique shatters or some shit
20
like
unique
that.
shatters, yeah.
Yeah, and then Rick or not Rick, Chris, he had said, "Well, we're pushing our creators and creators who were I remember he said something along the lines of wanted to push creators and this is going to challenge them to, basically get more eyes on their stuff. But I don't even understand. I don't think he understands how podcasts work. There are people like who do this all the time. Me and you both do this. Everyone does this. There are people that'll just watch a show or a stream, just
Mhm,
leave it on, not talk in the chat, and just hear what people are saying until it's over, and you just go do something else. I
mhm,
think he truly thinks that a podcast is more valuable when there's like 20 people in the chat just talking and spamming emotes or some shit. It's like, why would that podcast be more valuable than someone that has not as many chatters, but they have like 5 viewers? I don't get that.
mhm,
These are things that the average person at his level should understand. It's like, yeah, there might be a guy that has a podcast that has like 5 viewers watching and one person chatting. That's going to be be honest here, that's the average person. The average
mhm.
person is going to have a chat like that. 5 viewers and one person talking because general people might be at work, they listen on their Bluetooth headphones
Right.
and they got other stuff to do. So when
Mhm,
he's saying certain things like that, it's like, dude, how can I get 20 unique chatters on your platform when you have no discovery? I know both of us are not putting out bad stuff. So I know it's nothing to do with content. If my content straight up is trash, I would be like, okay, I got to work on my shit. I got to fix things up. How do you get 15 unique chatters in a place that has no general way to push people to your channel? You
mm.
know, like,
That's a real question, but I also know that, Airconda asked you about that, about promoting Rumble as well, since you weren't really promoting it, so I do know you got called out by that, by Airconda.
uh, he wasn't wrong, but in my see, this is for me. I value my time in anything that I do because I only get so much free time with my 2 days off. As you know, we work quite a bit. I am very busy throughout the week, so
Mhm,
this is how I've always functioned. This is the thing I've had since I was a little kid. I
mhm,
don't want to put in time into something that is going to amount to nothing. I've never been that kind of person. Everything that I put in effort into, I would like it to amount to something. So if I'm pushing something this much, it should amount to something, especially if I'm doing it for more than 2 years.
mhm,
I get it. You need to take generally more time to grow and that stuff like that. I get that. But I think what's the point of promoting something that is gonna offer you nothing and it does nothing and it has no actual effect on your viewership at all? Like I could promote Rumble all I want to. It does nothing.
mhm,
That's I don't want to waste my time doing something when I could be doing something else that actually benefits my time.
mhm,
Yeah, I actually he was right. I actually can do more advertising, but I'd rather advertise it on YouTube more because I get more
mhm.
people watch here. That would make
Right.
sense, right? From a content point of view. If I'm going to advertise something, I should be advertising it to people that are actually going to, watch it on here. And there's
Mhm,
actual viewership that correlates to the numbers that you have. Like people that said I'm not marketing enough, it's just like, why? There's no way people are going to see my stuff unless I market it, but there's no average people watching on Rumble too. So like the thing you brought up earlier with Rumble, that I had the same mindset too. So like I hope YouTube, Twitch, Kick, any platform does their best job to grab users to their platform because that's what they should do. You should be doing the best job you can at marketing to grab users to your platform.
mhm,
So if Rumble is not doing that, how can more people never come see? Rumble would be turning people off by what you said earlier, which is politics. So the average person is turned off and they're not coming. They need to make good decisions to get people to come to their platform. Then you benefit with the content you've already been producing. And then it just kind of becomes a nice cycle right there. Their marketing brings in new users, and
mhm.
then you yourself are already making the content. Then those new users that come to the platform see your stuff recommended through their I would hope through a new search engine that comes eventually, which is probably never gonna happen, but hopefully, maybe,
Right.
I didn't have a dad, so who knows? The
Mhm.
search engine will come just like my dad at some point. But
Right.
it should be a circle that goes good decisions benefit everybody. And Rumble, like you said before, communication hasn't been that good, and the marketing decisions has been awful. Like
Mhm,
five ad
mhm,
reads. That's like what?
mhm,
And people had argued with me about that too. Like you pay for Rumble Premium to not have ads. So
mhm,
then you're gonna pay. So then the host has to do 5 ad reads. These are mandatory things you have to do. These are have
Mm,
to do things. This is not
right.
optional. If they were optional, I could care less because that's an optional thing, right? These are
Mm,
mandatory. You have to do these things to stay in the platform and in that program.
program.
Like,
Yes.
yeah, crazy. Like, it's
Mm.
crazy people were defending that. Like, I was like, what could they do that you wouldn't like at this point? You know?
That's a reasonable question to ask. I mean, but again, it just comes to that point of like, no, you were saying what's worth my time, and if it's not worth your time, then you would have left it alone. But you also keep coming back to tell people it's not worth it. So the real question is, if it's not worth it to you, then why do you keep coming back to tell people it's not worth it or that it's not, there's no worth to it? Because that sounds like investing a lot of time in something that you find no worth in. So that's kind of confusing in how you do that.
Oh no, no, you're not wrong. So I think it boils down to when people ask, "Is Rumble a good platform to start streaming to?" And then I would
Mm,
tell them what I've said on Twitter, which is, "Hey, I don't think this platform is really worth it to invest a lot of hours into as far as like trying to make it on. But if, like I said, for people are free to do whatever they want. That's
mm, right,
that's go without saying.
right.
I would just let people know about things that other people aren't. So other people aren't going to tell them certain things. I know it. I've seen these interactions before. I've seen every interaction I think possible. As far
Mm,
as like the conversational points that people go over. Like a general person will ask, "Hey, Rumble seems like a great place. Should I start streaming there?" And then I would tell one person would say, "Yeah, it's great. The best thing ever since sliced bread." Then I would go, "I don't know about that. Here's my
mm,
pros and cons. You can take them or leave them." You
right.
know, I think there is value here,
Mm,
but if you're asking me, if you're asking me in a more general sense, no, I think it's generally pretty useless, honestly. Like I said before, people experience platforms differently. It could become more useful in the future. It could become a good thing. But if you're asking me
possibly.
right now, as of my opinion of it right now, I would
Mm,
give it. If I gotta, I don't even give ratings like I did back in the day.
right.
If I'd give Rumble a rating, it would be like, damn, maybe like 3 out of 10, 2 out of 10. Honestly, if I'm being
That's
completely truly honest about everything, it's a two out
mm,
of ten platform. Does it
mm,
have its good and bad? Sure, but I think the bad outweighs the good massively. Like I know you had not liked hearing this from the ambassadors because they kept saying, "Oh, work harder." What do you mean work harder? If
mm,
I'm streaming 5 days a week, multiple hours plus, I don't even know. Like, you tell them that you're like, huh? They're like, maybe you have to go and interact with people. On YouTube, I don't have to interact with anybody. On YouTube, if I just made content, people would just subscribe. I know it. People have been doing that. If I just
mm,
made content, I don't have to because like you said earlier, when how we're having the one-on-one conversations on your channel, and we were talking about that and like getting the most out of people.
mm,
Well, what if people don't really want to interact with communities? Like there should be, like I shouldn't just have to interact with the community to get more followers. That's crazy. Shouldn't there be
mm,
enough general users there that I could have access to that if I make good enough content that they would come over and follow? I don't mind interacting with people because that's how I get people for the show, right? That's
right,
fine. But it shouldn't be a no. You just don't not you. I'm not saying you're saying this, but I've heard this from other people tell me this, like to my
right.
face on Twitter. They're like, you don't interact with the community enough. Why should I have to? Like, is there a
Mm,
reason? Like, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad people because generally, like you said before, Rumble has some pretty cool people. I agree with you about that. But I
mm,
shouldn't have to interact with you if I don't
mm,
want to. And
mm,
the only way to interact with people is to generally have them rate your stream. It's like that's not even that's a kingmaker system that Twitch has. Basically, the top people decide who they want to rate and give the viewers to, and everyone else just fights for scraps. It's like that's horrible of a system. I don't
mm.
know if you experienced that with the ambassadors telling you that, but I'm pretty sure you have. Where they're just like, just work harder. It's like, what in the fuck? What?
Well, to many people, I've heard that been said too because I've seen it, like you've seen it
Mm-hmm,
on Twitter X,
mm-hmm,
but I don't. To me, I don't care because I'm not here for them, and I'm certainly not uh, doing whatever the content creator does. Is that more views, money, and all that stuff?
mm-hmm,
But at the end of the day, though, it is kind of a disappointment when that becomes sort of the tone deaf situation. When instead of hearing out somebody who's bringing a good faith issue, which many have, and that's what I do. That's what I collect. And then they're told, "Well, you're not doing this right, or you're not doing that right." If you were to, and we could just say this, well, if you were to go to say Twitch, and Twitch didn't have any of the tools or any of like the channel points, whatever, and they made you work twice as hard to be on the platform, right? You had to overcome their technical issues. You had to
mm-hmm.
overcome the being seen. would you still put any stuff on there? I'd imagine most people wouldn't, because there's no point in working twice as hard for a platform that's not really, like you mentioned
Yeah,
earlier, giving back
yeah.
earlier. So the point of the matter is, though, is that with people coming to Rumble, like, sure, yeah, you can tell them, try it out. I usually just say, just try it out, see what you think, because I'm not going to be over hype about it. But I do think people need to understand that if they're coming from a place like YouTube or Twitch or Kick, which have more tools, and especially with YouTube's recent announcement of all the stuff they did, the updates and stuff they put out. I mean, Rumble's competing on a field it's not really competing on, which is the sad part, because it's being said by the admin, but the problem of it is that they've created a confirmation bias front page. They don't really have a great way of being discovered. Their search is, like you said, not there, basically, and majority of the time they're usually promoting more politics over gaming or otherwise, and without anything beyond the scope of, I mean, you you can't. It really is just to try and see if it worked for you, great. If not, then at least you tried and you got your answer. Because if you just tell people no off right bat, then their experience, then they won't know the experience, and sometimes experience is a better teacher than just telling
Yeah, and that's why I tell people, these are my pros and cons of the platform. Try it out for yourself. And
them.
generally, you see people try it out, and from my experience, they come to the same conclusions, and then you just go like, well, I hope things get better. Like, I truly do hope things get better. I do hope that they improve on the things that I want them to improve on. But I think the main thing they need to implement is a search engine that can create people to different people,
Mhm,
where you don't have to rely on editors picks. I think editors picks is stupid. I think it's a
mhm.
stupid thing. I
Yeah,
think you should just let the people on the platform, the many people, there are people on there, let them
mhm,
decide who gets all the viewership.
yeah.
Let them decide that, you
Yeah,
know?
like, allow them to curate. Allow them. YouTube has that tool where it says you can see the channel or see the video. Rumble doesn't have that, but if they gave people that option to see a channel or see the video, that would probably solve a majority of their issues, instead of just, at least for the time being, instead of having a recommendation engine, they could just give a tool that says, "You want to see this? No," or "Yes."
Right. Yeah.
Do you want to see the
Hmm.
channel? No. Yes.
Yeah.
You'd be able to solve a huge issue, but what the technical skills and coding skills are for that, I have no idea.
Yeah. And
So,
I get it. Like, when people say the two things that go along with it, they're like, well, Rundle, Jesus Christ, that's another platform. Rumble is a small Rumble is a small company and all that sort of stuff.
mm,
People act like this is a poor broke company. This is a publicly traded company
mhm,
that's gotten millions and millions of dollars from a lot of people,
mhm,
and then they've also given away millions and millions of dollars in, you know,
mhm,
sponsored contracts with certain creators. So
mhm,
if this is what I'm just like, for me, the way I've seen it is, well, are you just bad with money? Because you're not broke. You can get people, you can hire them, so you're not broke. You've given
mm,
millions of dollars to other people, so it's not like you're broke. You're just bad
right,
with money, or you're making bad money decisions, or like you said before, confirmation bias. There's people on the team that are telling the leaders, "Hey, this is the right decision." They're just,
mm,
to me, it looks like they're just bad with money, like the Miskiff situation, Doctor
mm,
Disrespect. There's the Kaisen and I Show Speed situation, the thing with
mm,
Sneeko. Like, these people
mhm,
are horrible with money. All that money they wasted on those people. And yes, I'm just saying Doctor Disrespect was a waste of money, absolute
mm,
waste of money. To give him that much money and equity in the company, we know that's usually just bullshit business speak. But
mm,
all that wasted money, all that wasted money they gave to those people could have been worked on making the platform better. People will
yeah,
come to the platform when it's a better, more polished product.
mhm,
That's always how that has worked in business world. People see a polished product, they'll go and support as if they think it's worth it. Then
mhm,
they'll tell a friend, then they'll tell a friend, then they'll tell a friend. You
mhm,
know, and then like you said before, not that algorithm has to be that should be the number one priority over like this streaming software that we're making. Like, people like me and you will use OBS, will use StreamYard, there's Restream, Riverside, all those other platforms. For me, don't
mhm,
understand why there's this much effort in Rumble Studio. I'm not saying they shouldn't have their own shit. You can have your
mm,
own shit. It's fine.
mm,
But have your own shit when it would be like if you built a house and you worried about putting an entertainment center in first without building like the foundational part of it. They're not
mm,
focusing, in my opinion, on the more foundational things. They're focusing on like a streaming platform. Like, why do you need Rumble Studio? Why does it have to be a thing right now? I'm not saying it can't be a thing, but Why does
Mm,
that need to be a priority? It's obviously people have seen it's not really gotten that much better. Like, what streaming platform do you know times you out? I was on Whiskey Capitalist's podcast.
mm,
Timed you out. Time me out. 2 hours. We're on your show, remember? 2 hour mark, you're out.
mm,
What? The latency, not fixed. But they wouldn't have to deal with all that. They didn't think that was a priority.
mm,
I just don't understand. Their priorities are all messed up. But unless those things get kind of fixed, it's really hard to see the platform improving. I hope the platform improves, but then again, I hope my wife has sex with me. And then again, she's usually getting pounded out by Tyrone at night, generally speaking,
mm,
as I watch. So
mm.
you understand my frustration.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see if they do anything other than the Rumble wallet, which for
Good Lord,
some
yeah.
some will see that as a good thing, and some won't. But at the end of the day, they do have a lot of content discovery and platform stability issues. Because right now it's just for some it's not working. Not only that, but sometimes they don't even know who they have on their platform, which also sucks. Yeah. People they could essentially promote that would be beneficial for them that was already on the platform, uh, that they don't even know about, and that's the sad part.
hmm Wendy says, "How do you stand out among all those big podcast content makers on several platforms? I mean, if you are unique, then it is hard to get the spotlight on you." Most people will never say this, because it's just a hard pill to swallow. I think most new people would never understand this point. It,
Mm,
like it also depends on your goals. Making
right.
it big should never be in your mind in general, because just being honest here, that is a one in. It's literally like winning the lottery. It's a
Mm,
1 in 1 million chance that's going to happen.
mm,
You mostly want to get to a point where you have a consistent average listener base that'll
mm,
watch your stuff. You mostly want to have consistent people that will show up no matter what,
mm,
because you've been doing it for so long. So consistency is the ultimate factor. If you are super consistent, you'll get people. I do truly believe that. You will get people if you are super consistent. But
mm,
then the other aspect is like, then people see like the growth thing. Well, depends on what you feel like you want to grow at. Because if something is oversaturated, growth is really hard. But you
yeah.
can stand out if you can consistently get people to watch you.
Mm,
So it really just depends on your own personal goals versus how much can you stand out. I mean, we're just talking to each other on microphones on the
mm,
internet.
yeah,
But people like
pretty
me doing
much.
it more because I'm a genius. So it just
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. I mean, there it comes down to like you hear people do like different layouts, production also, but there's only a limit to how far you can go with those things
Yeah,
because
yeah.
once you reach the top, I mean, someone else is going to reach even a topper point, and good competition is good to some degree, but like if you're not content with what you do, then obviously then that's just going to wreck you, and you've already seen enough people burn out or just stop making content because they've got other things going on. And if you stop enjoying making anything at all, then you could be missing out on something big.
Well, people win the lottery every day. Gray, I want you to understand this, dude. If that were true, we'd all be filthy rich.
Mm,
Also, people then there's that barrier too that like you won't buy the lottery tickets because you automatically think you're not going to win, so your mind's already convinced you it's not worth it. Like
mm,
I understand, your mindset can work differently on something. It's
mm,
just I truly do want Rumble to succeed. It's just it gets aggravating seeing things not improve.
mm,
Like that's my thing. It's aggravating to see what's going on and then to see people saying that like things are good. It's like I mean, I guess things are not as horrible as they once were, but that doesn't make them good.
mm.
Like.
Yeah, it's basically working on the things that a majority of people will need or use, like creators and viewers, because viewers have a bad experience when they're trying to watch a stream and it hiccups or it freezes or they have to refresh the
Mhm,
page. And it's bad for the creator side when stuff like the direct RTMP for Rumble Studio crashes or they have to make another one or so many other things. Or some people who still have issues with their payout or so on and so forth. There are a lot of things that still need to be worked on, but yeah, from the outside, it does look like they're kind of just all over the place because you don't know what the next thing is. And honestly, the thing that would help them better again is either being allowing people to curate what they see, or working on stabilizing their platform enough that people don't say I could just go to YouTube, because the whole thing yesterday, right? The whole memorial stuff. a lot of people were saying, "Well, my stuff froze up and all this and that."
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're like, "Well, I'll just go to YouTube because I don't have those issues over there." That's another sign that you might need to improve the stability of your platform because sure, you can say, well, they're building everything to ground up. That's great. Something to commend them on. But they are in a competition to have people on their platform and they can't really rest on not going after the points that will help get people there. Sure, they need money. They need to have long stability, long-term investment. That's understandable, but without people to watch. I mean, a platform, any platform is a symbiosis of
Mhm.
creators, viewers, and the platform itself. With only just mostly creators, your platform's not going to go anywhere because there's no one watching. And other creators watching other creators leaves very little time for anything. And that's where Rumble's at right now. It's very
Right.
incestuous. Uh,
Mhm.
Viewers, if it's only just viewers watching and you have very little creators, well, okay, but then you have very little diverse content, and why should people come to the platform?
Mhm.
And if platform doesn't work out well, saying whether it be content discovery or platform stability, then those other two aren't going to stay very long because they like you, they don't see the value in staying for something that just keeps timing out, blurting out, all that stuff. And it's nice and it's great that there's a lot of talk, but like you said, there needs to be action and there's no communication on that action. So we're kind of just sitting out here
Right.
waiting for the rain to fall.
And that moment you just said, which happened, I think it was yesterday, the Charlie Kirk Memorial was a big event that they could have capitalized on. Hey, all the criticism they got over stability and latency and all that stuff. Imagine if they had just fixed all that. Then all these people that came over to Rumble to watch it uncensored, as they would say, you can watch things uncensored on Rumble compared to YouTube.
Mm,
Then you get all those people. All those people could be visiting, all these other channels and discovering what
mm,
the platform has to offer. All those people
mm,
now are just going to be like, well, this platform kind of fucking sucks. So, and I want you to understand, that's how the average person thinks. I'm not just saying these things 'cause I'm trying to be mean. The average person, when they go and experience something and they don't like it, or they get the first, what's the old saying? First impressions matter.
yeah.
They think it sucks. That's their average thought. Is like, hey, this is garbage. I'm leaving. I'm not coming back. That's the first impression. That's not
Mm,
being big old meanie. No, that I'm just telling you what the average person thinks. Because I work around a lot of average people. They're pretty just
right.
easygoing. Let's say easygoing as far as mindset
Mm,
going. Like
mm,
Netflix. We'll use Netflix for example. Netflix is a platform that is massive. All the
mm.
subscribers, how much money it makes a year. When they had that Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight and it kept freezing, do
Oh
you know how
yeah.
many people were mad about that? And this
Mm,
and Netflix is a platform that has that millions of dollars invested into it. They shouldn't
mm,
have this problem at all. That's why people were mad because you've been giving all this money. This is not a thing that shouldn't be happening. Rumble has the money. They just chose to not, for some reason, fix this problem, and they had this opportunity to really get people on their platform, and it's just squandered. Now all
mm,
those people are just thinking, well, I can't go to Rumble to watch streams like you said because it freezes. God damn, what a completely just fumbled bag, you know?
mm. Yeah, yeah. And many people, even some of the creators are on that space too. But many believe in the mission of, but a mission only goes so far. If the tech doesn't catch up with, then the mission is just like a duck in water. It's just gonna stay there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just gonna stay there.
But do you have pets? I think you have a cat or dog, right?
No, I don't have any pets now.
Okay, good. I don't. I like cats more than dogs, so they don't bark. That's one of the
Mm.
reasons. But cats can be just their own level of demons. But
Yeah, ferocious. Yeah.
yeah, the other thing that people said is collab more. Well, my thing with collabs is I don't mind doing them. That's not the problem with doing them in general. The
Mm,
issue with when you collab with someone on Rumble is that like people will go and follow you. But I don't know if you've ever noticed this. The people that follow from that person don't watch. So what benefit is that to me other than a number changing?
mm,
And I'm not saying that person's not valuable. I'm not saying I don't like that person. But
mm,
if I'm collaborating with you and the people that like you follow me because they liked what I offered on your show, if they don't watch me, then what was the point of that collab other than I'm not saying our time talking is wasting. I'm not saying
mm,
having the conversation was useless, but even the point of the collabs end up becoming like, well, I'm getting a lot of these numbers, but if they're not translating into actual viewers, then fuck. It just kind
well,
of means it's gonna suck.
I mean, anyone should know that followers doesn't equate views because I mean, you could look at YouTube and you could see you can have 1,000 followers and have 10,000 views,
Oh
or
yeah, yeah.
10,000 followers and only have 1,000 views. and even YouTube has this issue of shadow banning some stuff. But at the end of the day, though, I think that should be the big takeaway: is that your equation of viewers does not equate your equation of followers does not
Yeah,
equate
there's not
views.
a conversion rate of that. Like you could
No.
have 500 subscribers but have like 600 views average, you
Yeah.
know?
It's
Yeah.
always it's always can go either way, vice versa, whether it be viewers are up, but
Mhm.
followers are down, or followers are up,
And
and
you were right
viewers are
about
down.
that for YouTube as well, because on YouTube, they always tell you that there's more people not subscribed to you watching you than your actual subscribers. But that generally would be the case. That should be the case for everything. That should generally just be assumed that the people that are watching you the most are not subscribed. But
Mhm.
I'm glad they actually make that distinction too. Wendy says it seems that Rumble for profit goes instead of solving problems. I don't know all of their financial situation. I do know
Yeah.
the stock price is not that good, but I
Mhm.
think they just wasted money on a bunch of creators that didn't really see maybe the value in the platform, or they just
Mhm.
didn't see the effort in putting in all these hours for this contract, only to just end up kind of realizing, well, I just wasted my time. And you kind of figure that was going to happen with a lot of these guys. Like,
Mhm.
damn, the Doctor Disrespect thing. He came in right after what he had said. Oh my god, that is just that was bad
Uh,
timing all the way around.
it was quite some time after, because I know he was at the point he came on, he wasn't even monetized on YouTube, and I think
I
that
remember that.
was
Yeah.
yeah, there was still a time where he wasn't monetized at all, and YouTube was sort of like they're lowballing him basically, but he eventually got remonetized after at way after he was already contracted to Rumble. So
Hmm.
there's the equity, but in the end, yeah, it does seem like I think there was at one point there was like mention of him maybe getting back on Twitch again, but it doesn't seem to come to fruition. So I think that was just a rumor, to
Oh
be
god.
honest.
And Doctor Disrespect now, I think when I looked at his channel, he doesn't really, I think, upload as much there. I'm not followed, but I don't really see him stream all that much there,
He
unless it's like one of those after hour things he does.
it's three. I think it's 3 times a week is when he does it. Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays when he
Yeah, he's live
streams.
there now. Yeah.
Yeah. So he only streams on certain days, because I remember him he had a schedule put out or something like that. But beyond that point, I mean,
Mhm.
he's invested to it to some degree, unless he finds a way of breaking out of that equity contract.
Good lord,
Um,
yeah.
but beyond that point, I mean, he is monetized on YouTube again. But whether it's certainly the main reason why Dr. Disrespect was given that contract to was to be in charge of gaming, but it doesn't seem like that's come to fruition either. So I think something happened along the way where just having him in charge of gaming. Then he had the ambassadors come, and I believe someone was saying that the ambassadorship is over with. So unless there's no been official announcement, but it's just
You heard through the grapevine that the ambassador kind of thing is going to be over. That would be
well,
interesting.
it sounds like the ambassador. Well, at least from what I heard, it was like the ambassadorship stuff is over. Or at least there's no, if anything, I'm not hearing anyone call them ambassadors anymore unless they have it like in their bio. But again, it's just a rumor. I don't know if it's true fact or not. But I think that again, it comes to the point that during when the ad read thing was coming, they were doing damage control, which it is. And while some of them are helpful, many are. It, it really comes back to that point of just blind support, more or less, to a platform rather than anything else.
Oh, Doctor Disrespect right now is the live viewer count. If I'm to believe this is true, without view botting, is 1,606 live viewers on just Rumble side. I'd imagine if I went to YouTube and I saw what he was streaming for on YouTube, it would
Mm,
be 10 times as much. Now, like, cause that's weird because when the quartering streams, his chat moves so slow. There's just no way I could believe he has 36,000 concurrent viewers on Rumble. It's so hard to believe those things. I'm not saying Rumble's view botting, but some of these numbers to chat
mm.
ratio just isn't adding up, you
Yeah,
know?
you wouldn't be the only one thinking that, but he does get featured because he is part of their lineup
That's
that they
true.
have.
Yeah.
So he does get featured. But yeah, I've heard that for many times from many people. And it's certainly a possibility, but unless there's some concrete evidence of sort, it really is just a guessing game of, is this person view botting or not? Yeah, you could say, oh well, one person and 6,000 watching, maybe if it's that what's the term? If it's that clear. But hey, professor. But at the end of the day though, um I don't go into that view bot thing because you never
You just
truly
never
know.
know.
Well,
Yeah.
and some people have got come forward and said they got falsely accused. And if you falsely accuse someone and you don't have anything to back it up, I
Yeah.
mean, you kind of destroy your own credibility there too. So
Yeah,
you have to be
that's why I
careful.
said it just looks kind of suspicious. That
Yeah.
it's like people will say I've never paid for a review ever my entire life. I've never did
Mm,
that ever. Never. I've offered people have offered me to do it, but it's like no, I'm totally good. I'd rather just do it the old fashioned way. You know.
right.
What's up, Savage Ed? How you doing, man? So what's the other thing with Rumble? Like they're trying to do the whole the Rumble wallet thing. What's that supposed to be? Is that something like a crypto thing, or is like a
Yeah.
different payout option or whatever?
Well, and to be honest, Odyssey is doing their own thing too with having sort of their own payouts. I think they're trying to for Rumble. I think they're trying to get around having to use like the payment stuff or whatever. But
The
many
middleman
people,
kind of thing. Yeah.
yeah, like the payment process and whatnot. But the problem of it is that a lot of people are not very into crypto or don't trust crypto, and
Yeah.
to offer something that may just be basically a crypto wallet is going to leave a lot of different things in people's mouths. Again, while to some degree
Mhm.
it is much needed because again, we all know about the processing, the payment processors and their ordeal, censorship and all that stuff. The most important part of stuff is stability and content discovery on the platform because
Mhm.
it really there are a lot again even though you have many people getting into the crypto different types of crypto and whatnot, not many are comfortable with it or know much about it. And so if you aren't making this wallet easy to use or understandably to use, then people just won't use it because it's like with in the sense of YouTube, right? There's easy ways of using it because they've made it simple enough that you could just go click here, right? If Rumble
Mhm.
doesn't do something like that with their wallet, then it's gonna be a very bad day.
Right. Hmm. Also, the other thing I wanted to bring up outside of Rumble is
Mhm.
what do you like as far as like do you like movies, TV, video? I know video games, but are you a fan of the movies, TV show, like anime kind of stuff?
Well, I like yeah, I watched the new Demon Slayer movie. I went to go see that. I went to see the sub version, not dub version.
Oh yeah, so you're a man of culture. Good, good, good.
Mm. I did. Well, I mean, I have gone see movies when when there's a movie to go
Hmm.
see. Obviously, there other than the Demon Slayer one, there really hasn't been any movies per se around that I've wanted to see. But usually, if there's a movie to go see, sure. I don't watch much TV or
I haven't watched much
anything.
TV in forever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been a long time
TV
since I.
shows. Yeah.
Yeah, do you remember what was the last TV show you would like actively look forward to, like sitting down and watching every single week? I think mine was the last one was The Walking. Okay, so it was Superman and Lois and The Flash something, and before those two, I think it was The Walking Dead, where I was actively looking forward to watching it every single Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I don't know because I've been whenever I made my count on YouTube is how long I've probably been watching stuff on uh you know a fear of watching all the stuff online, especially without ads, right? You can watch stuff without ads if you want, not with the premium but with just like Brave and
Mhm.
stuff. Um trying to think because it's been so long. Um shoot. A house. I would say a house. So,
Oh, I remember that show. Yeah,
yeah,
been a long
yeah,
time, man. That's a blast in the past. Holy shit, god
yeah,
damn. Man,
yeah.
like TV up, like there's been some good TV shows here and there, but I
Mhm,
remember like the last one I actively watched week to week. I'm pretty sure was The Walking Dead, and then it was after that was Superman and Lois and
mhm.
The Flash went. Just good lord, I don't want to get down that road. But I remember you were talking about gaming, or you talked about gaming earlier because you would stream it. What is your general thoughts about gaming now? Do you think the quality really has gone down for gaming just across the board?
Well, my issues is I have Steam and that's been bad for me because sales and stuff. So there's that. I think in general there's gonna be fast food games, just
Okay, that's a way to
because
put it. Okay.
yeah, there's again, there's like with anime, there's fast food anime, there's fast food games,
Mhm,
just because like there's a game on Steam that's called I think like it's called a digging shovel game or whatever. It only costs $5, but it basically made like it's $5, but it makes it made a lot of money because a lot of people are like, it's just a game about digging in your backyard and all that stuff. Um, I think it just depends. I think indie may have more of a edge than anything else, but there is still some uh, probably somewhat semi big companies out there that have something worth. It's just going to depend on the individual of what game they like to play because they
mhm,
know a lot of people who are, enjoyed the previous God of War, like the
mhm.
Valhalla and all that, or what's the one? I don't know if it's is it the BD6 out yet? Battlefield.
Battlefield 6, wasn't that in the open beta a while ago? I know I heard of that. Battlefield 6. I remember it's the open beta over.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, let me see right now. Battlefield 6. It still says
So
upcoming on most things.
okay,
October 10th, 2025. Yeah, you're
so
right.
it's
It's
not
coming
out
out.
yet.
It's not out
Uh,
yet. Yep.
yeah, it's so there's games like that, and a lot of people again you have continuous games like Fortnite, right? Like Fortnite is a continuous
Yeah.
first person shooter, all that stuff, and it's making buttloads of money. I mean, just the concept of what they've done with some of their stuff, like the events and whatnot, like the musical events.
Mhm,
Um, but I think there are some issues with gaming. Like if you're gonna have a company who has like a CEO of a company or a worker of a company kind of bash people who play the game or want to play the game or play other games, that all that stuff that you've seen out there.
mhm.
I think that kind of gives a sour taste in the mouth. Or you could be like you could be like Bethesda with Starfield, and how that turned out. That was something. Um, but yeah, I just think it varies person to person. For me, I really don't have much time to play games anymore. The last game I played was the No Man's Sky update.
What was the
Uh,
last game you pre-ordered? Like, you actively were so excited you pre-ordered it to have it.
mm,
It's been a while, man. The last one I did was Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where I actually got it on a midnight release.
I think the last one I did pre-order was the Starfield one. Um,
Oh gosh.
yeah, that was the one where I don't know. I didn't get the one where you could play early,
Mhm.
but I did get the ones like extra bits, like you get a costume, like a cosmetic costume or something like that. Um, and some few other things too. But I think that's the last one I did, and that was one where they didn't have a physical disc. It was just code. You just get this like code line that
Yeah.
you put in the Steam and then you get it from there. But other than that, I really haven't because but one because of that, and two because um you've if you've been on Steam, you've already seen them do the whole early access stuff, right? Where you're paying for a game early, but you still got all the bugs and stuff.
Yeah. Mhm.
And that I kind of feel like that gets abused. I kind of feel like early access gets abused because there are a lot of games that are like half baked cookies.
Mhm.
Like how Rumble is a bit of a half baked cookie. There are a lot of games out there that are a bit half baked cookie.
And a lot of them are coming out like that. Buggy messes that need day one patches. I remember the
Hmm.
Star Wars. Remember the Star Wars Outlaw situation where came out. It was files got corrupted so bad they have to patch it all up and tell people, hey, you're gonna have to redo everything from scratch. It's like, what
Yeah,
the hell?
yeah,
Crazy.
yep. And oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine.
No, I just yeah, I think some things like Steam, they allow that early access stuff to kind of get out of hand and people do abuse it. Big AAA, I've not really paid much attention to them because
Mhm.
again, I have Steam or GOG, if you know what GOG is, or Epic Game Store. There's Epic Game Store as well. I have those places, and I really don't need. I mean, if you're gonna have something like what is it, Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft
Yeah.
requires you to have another to sign in with their account in order to play the game. I
Yeah.
think when you have something like that, that's when you like. I don't think I'll get that game. Um, or what happened with PlayStation, right? When PlayStation tried to do that.
No, with Helldivers too. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you have to have an account or they let it go for a little bit. They had that account situation. It was like,
Mhm.
oh god, where they
Yep.
basically wanted to straight up steal the game from people because there was people in other countries that couldn't do what
Yeah.
they wanted. So like,
Yep.
if you had already purchased that game, That means that they
Mhm.
just stole your money because you can't. If I can't play your game, you just stole my money. That's
Yeah.
literally how that works. You
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
then people are like, well, why just make an account? It's free. Sony has been fucking hacked quite a bit of times for their games division. Remember,
Mhm.
people remember the one after the Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out. The
Mhm.
Insomniac just had a leak a few years ago that was very big, where it revealed all their Marvel video game plans.
Mhm.
Then they took away they were going to make no DLC content of Spider-Man 2. All the plans that they were talking about all went silent after these leaks. It's like, yeah, I've very good reasons why I wouldn't trust Sony with my information. Like, who could have thunk it? Like, what?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
yeah, before we head out in a little bit here, because I know you're got to get to something soon.
mhm.
The next time you're on, we got to talk about other things we'll get to eventually, like relationships and girls
Mhm.
and stuff like that. Because I don't know if you're married, do you have a girlfriend or anything like that, or you have kids or anything like that?
No,
You're
no,
just
no.
a
Nope.
single guy that lives at home.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
so but you understand all the problems with modern women. I imagine you do.
Yeah, I think there's a disconnect between men and women now, but that's more of like no one's really kind of sitting down and talk to each other. I mean, you have like what is that one show? The what is it? The Whatever podcast, I think it's called, or Fresh and
Yeah,
Fit. Yeah, there's the Whatever podcast and the Fresh and Fit, and I think that's kind of the wrong way to go about it because they usually just get girls who are sort of brain dead, if that makes sense. Because I kind of feel like they are a bit brain dead, or they're someone said like OnlyFans. Some of them have
yeah.
OnlyFans accounts, so we have that too.
Like I think a lot of women in general are just overrated. I think the best women, generally speaking, that are gonna be in your life is your grandma and your mother, and
Hmm.
maybe like an aunt here and there. But like the two most important women for a lot of men's life is going to be their mom and their grandma. I think even though I'm not saying your mom, but I'm saying how people's moms can be like assholes to them.
Hmm.
Even if that's the case, I think there needs to be a little bit of line of respect there. Not just because she's your mom, because you only get one of your mom, and she's ever gone. You might feel pretty bad if you said some mean things to her. I think there
Hmm.
should be a like. I fully get everyone's frustrations with the online dating. Well, just online dating has always been bad, but like just
Yeah.
dating in general. But I
Yeah.
think most guys need to come to that realization with what you just said about those girls there. A lot of girls are like that. Not just them. A lot of them are like that. A lot of them are they're just not as open with it, right? Because since they're on OnlyFans, they get seen a certain way. But that's most
Right.
women, in my opinion. I think most girls are like them. They just don't get the attention because they're just not as they're not online, or they're not as known per person. Like I've met women just like them, and they're like, I'm not dating that. Would never
Hmm.
even bother coming around you. Like most
Yeah.
women like that are shallow, disrespectful. Like you talk to them, and they're just like you just hear them like, what? Where did you
Hmm.
come to this? How is this a mindset? What in the
Right.
world are you talking about? Like
Yeah.
they'll say like fuck the what is a woman thing? They'll be like, well, anyone who wants to identify as a woman. It's like, do you really believe that? Like,
Yeah.
I think they actually believe the horse shit that they say, or
Hmm.
they just say these things because they don't. They might know they're wrong, but they don't want to
Hmm.
deal with backlash or whatever that even means for them.
Yeah, yeah, no, and yeah, that's understandable. I think that, well, it's not just OnlyFans anymore. OnlyFans is not the only website out there now that does that sort of thing. So there is that, and with more of those websites, I sort of like if you remember, what's that movie, Idiocracy, right? Idiocracy,
That's
where
familiar. Yeah, yeah.
where basically you had Starbucks, but it really wasn't Starbucks. So it might come to the point, it might not, but it is kind of that thing where I think some of these women have taken that path of least resistance. Like they go, or they go to the OnlyFans because they think they make a lot of money for doing
Mhm,
very little. Which, I mean, obviously taking a few photos of yourself is not that hard, except
mhm.
unless you're doing like professional shooting, and that's a totally another thing all itself. Um,
There's another
but
thing, Wendy. People don't actually do that as much. I know you've seen the videos where like those older ladies, not
mm,
who don't have OnlyFans, you're just older ladies that are like, why are no men approaching me? Why don't men come up to me and talk to me? Well, Me Too movement and all that aside, it's just like
what
that's why I tell
TikTok?
people TikTok, like even TikTok showed you I think social media has did so much damage to women's perception and psyche and overall the way people view them
Mm,
horribly. That might be the worst detriment of social media is, or benefit too, because now you can see them because they
mm,
frontly put it out there that
mm,
a lot of things that guys thought about women are
mm.
just null and void. Like people think they're so special. It's like no, they're just in my opinion, this is just me. I don't think
Mhm.
most women are special at all. I think guys vastly overrate all of them because they want to fuck them. And
Mm,
you're not thinking with your clear mind. And,
mm,
there's I was refer moms and grandmas are usually always the best ones in my opinion. They're the ones who always get
mhm.
the safe,
Right.
But even like moms will be like, "Well, son, this is how you get a girl," and it's like, "Mom, well, dating world's changed since you got married," because they're
Yeah.
looking at it from back in the day. They got
Mhm.
married after they graduated high school and they had a
Yeah.
family. That's
Yeah.
just not how things go. And like, so it's not like
Mhm.
their dating advice is bad. It's just more like it's outdated compared to the pool that exists now. You
Yeah,
know?
it's not Tinder, right? You have the
Yeah.
Tinder app. Remember when the Tinder app came out?
Yeah.
And that was basically the hookup app, and everyone was going to that
You
to
remember
just go
Plenty of
look.
Fish? Remember that one?
I think that was short lived though, wasn't
You
it?
short lived. Yeah, I remember
Yeah, it
Plenty
was
of Fish
short.
and Tender. Yeah, fucking hell,
Then
dude.
then you have these other ones out there like Christian Mingle and Farmer Meet.
Christian Meat,
Yeah,
Black
all
People
this.
Meet. Darmuth, were you ever on blackpeoplemeet.com?
I've never heard of that one. There's been
There
so
was
many to
one.
hear of.
Yeah, there was
Okay.
one. It came out at the same time Christian Mingle came out. Blackpeoplemeet.com. We got to see Darmuth's profile on there. He was
I'm
a black guy apparently.
I I can imagine there's probably more websites like that because there was one for farmers. There was one for farmers too,
Good
and just
lord.
like
Good
that.
lord.
There,
No
it,
way. You're fucking with me. Really? That's
no,
still a
there
thing?
it's farmers meet or something like that. But it's one of those things where there's just going to be a lot of different sections of dating for different areas. Like maybe just for Asian people, maybe just for black. You're gonna have a lot of
Yeah,
segregation in that
yeah.
regard, which is kind of funny. They wanted to get away from that in the beginning, but they're going back to it, which is a weird part.
Hi, Labs.
But yeah, I think that with the advent of social media, there's kind of a skewing between both men and women because
Mhm,
um, not a lot of people are thinking, and they're more just going like I'm pretty sure you remember Rick and
mhm.
Morty, right? There
Yeah.
was an episode where um, Jerry, Morty's dad,
Mhm.
had hired this alien to make an app. And what would happen is this app would change people out like every 10 seconds or so. And just like you would find this person, get with them for like
Mhm.
maybe a minute, and then ding, the next thing would come up, and you have another person coming and all that stuff. And so that's sort of like maybe it's not exactly like that, but that's what it's starting to feel like um, with that part with social media is you have these apps that are sort of ding ding. And while there can be some truth to them of like matching up with personalities or whatnot, I do think they kind of skew things because does everyone show who they really are in the pictures that they post, right? The profile pictures?
Yeah, and this is the thing I want. Glad you made that point because most people on the internet are. I'm not saying I do this. I'm just
Mm,
who I say I am. People
right.
believe that because people have met me and they can confirm this. You know this as well as I do. You're older now. People generally on the internet are not just putting on a front. They are over exaggerating who they are as far as personality traits, morals, principles,
Hmm.
personality,
Right.
what they say and like. There's a lot of
Mm,
like fronting on the internet to put on this facade and perception of who you really are.
yeah.
Because body language is a thing. Like when I like you can tell someone's weird in real life by looking at them, by their body language. If they can't make eye contact, if they're kind of doing this like side eye thing people do. There's
Mm,
a bunch of things, right? On
yeah.
the internet, it's really hard to tell these things. It
Mm,
just is because it's over a cell phone, over a computer.
yep.
Body language is so important, but that gets
Yeah.
lost on the internet. So people can just, I could go on the internet right now and say I have 12-inch dick, I have a big yacht, I got $1 million in the bank, and I own 4 businesses. I don't have to prove that
Mm,
at all. I could just post pictures of it. I could post a
mm,
picture of myself next to a business and say I
yeah.
own it, and people think I own it. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. They never recheck on that. I mean, you could probably get community noted if you get found out, but
Oh, you're saying I don't have a yacht? Crazy. You're
wow.
right.
I mean, compared to Jeff Bezos, I mean, come on. Come on.
Oh
Uh,
god. Here in the Netherlands, we have TV shows like Farmer Seeks Wife and B
bread
and B Full Love. What is
bed and breakfast, I think is what she means. Bed and breakfast full of love.
mm,
Yeah, that's a weird one. Yeah, I mean, again, you had shows like Bachelor, Bachelorette, what was Who Wants to Meet
ugh.
Joe Millionaire, all that stuff. I
Re-
mean,
Do you remember that clip from The Bachelorette? It was that white lady, the blonde hair chick and that dude with like the brown hair. When
mm,
she was gonna marry this guy, but he wasn't really for like the LGBTQ BLM shit. And she was like,
mm,
yeah, I called it off because he didn't really give me a true stance on his views on BLM and LG
yeah.
women women don't deserve anything. That's just terrible. It's crazy. Like women literally function like they love you 1 minute, and then literally within about a day, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes, they just don't like you. They just hate the very touch of you. Like what?
That
You didn't do anything.
mm,
you know.
sounds like a cat.
uh, to be fair, a cat will always come back to you for food. At least a cat is a little bit more loyal.
Or catnip. Don't forget catnip.
That's true. Like
Good one.
I still have never really truly understood about how women can do that. Like you could be married right now, and one day she's just like, I don't want to be married anymore. I'm done. What do you mean you're done? Just all of a
Mm,
sudden, all just that's it. It's like,
mm.
goddamn.
Well,
Huh.
yeah, and that's majorly, but there have been times where men have done that too to
Mm-hmm.
women. It's on a low scale, but there is that such thing where it's been vice versa, and
Mm-hmm.
you hear those stories about where the guys like either that or they go after another woman or whatever. So there is that canny appearance where that does happen on the other side too, but it does seem the woman side of things gets more not appearance, more viewing of, again, you have the what's ever podcast, you have the fit and fresh podcast. You do have it where more females are getting the more notice side of it. But again, it does happen with the male side as
Yeah,
well,
I
just
think
not to the extent.
males, because people always say I criticize women. No, males fail because I think they realize the game too late, and I feel like most of them aren't thinking clearly.
Mm,
If you stop thinking with your dick, life
mhm,
becomes a whole lot more different. You have that post nut clarity, not just in that moment, but constantly, where you're
mhm.
making good decisions based off of things that you know, things that you've seen, and things you experience yourself. I
Right.
feel like most guys who make these mistakes, they're just not thinking clearly. They're thinking like this is a girl from a movie where she's gonna be with me if I give her flowers or some bullshit like that. Or I save her from this abusive boyfriend.
Right.
And maybe it turns out she likes being abused like that to a certain extent. There's, you know, like
Mhm,
women are crazy like that. But this guy's thinking like all that white knight shit we saw growing up in movies. Women don't like that at all. Actually, quite opposite. They hate you when you do that. Like, which is crazy because that's what people will say to do. Do this for women. Do that for a woman. Do that, and it's like they could hate don't even care. They don't
mhm.
care. Like it's a crazy world we live in.
Yeah, and you could also have that situation too where I've heard talk about where you have, uh, I guess the high earner men or whatever, where they can just go through women because they have the monetary,
Status. Yeah.
yeah, the status to kind of do that. So you do have that situation where you can have the low end of all women, at least by what I've heard, and then you can have the high end of men who could just go through as many women as possible. A woman can go through many men as much as one man can go through many women. Is
Yeah.
basically how I've heard it.
And then and that guy that you said is this high status guy with a nice job and he's got all this stuff. Those girls gotta these girls never realize this. You are just one of many. He's not gonna be with you. But
Mm,
I don't even know if they care about, but by the time they even realize that, they're like, well, I messed up. Like it's like I remember people were getting banned on Twitter for saying, I don't want a woman that's been ran through by 30 dudes. I
mm,
remember like, yes, someone doesn't want to be with the town cum dumpster. Oh my god, what a how bad of you. You
yeah.
actually have a stand. Like I mean people say that. Yeah, then again, actions speak a lot than the words, so it could always
Right.
depend. But then again, it's like, hey, why is that a bad thing if I don't want a woman who's been ran through by like 20 different guys? Why is that a bad thing? Like people go like,
Mm,
but that makes you a misogynist, sexist. Why? I just don't want that. I'm not saying
mm,
maybe she's a bad person, but what if I don't want that?
mm.
You know? Oh, good night, Wendy. Have a great
Yeah, have a
day.
good night, Wendy. Yeah, no, when you're at least reasonable and saying it, like, that's, I don't want someone who's been with a bunch of people, and that just kind of ruins things because again, you're dealing with someone who's really easily willing to toss you over to the side for someone else, and again, it can go both ways depending on the status of someone. But I mean, if you want to do a focus on the female side, I mean, you can have a one female toss aside many men, and and just keep going through that.
Yeah.
Whether or not they change is another story.
All right. So the last few things I'll ask you before we head out is the first
Sure.
thing is, do you have anything planned you would like to let the audience know before we head out that you're going to be working on this year?
Oh, well, I have a gentleman on named Joe's Donuts on tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. He'll be on. I stream to both Rumble and YouTube, so there's that. But yeah, so Joe Donut will be on at 8 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and that'll be a great time. And the rest of the week too. Of course, this week is when this Saturday is my next Rumble Squared as well. Like you were on for the last one, and basically I just collect people's feedback and turn that into something everyone could see.
Mhm.
Because it is easy to point out issues in a platform and just leave it at that, but it's harder to dismiss when someone says I can point out those things and I have data to show that those things are really more an issue than you think. And it's really one of those things. So there's that too. But for the rest of the year, um I'm just gonna do keep doing my thing. And obviously, of course, I am taking time off uh, a few times this year. Like for Thanksgiving week, I'll be off, so I won't be doing anything. And then towards the year, like Christmas and New Year's, I'll be off as well because I I I have a full time job, so I'll make a living off this. But yeah,
What do you
so
mean? You're not streaming 7 days a week, 5 hours plus. You're not putting in enough work, man. Come on.
that's all right. They can have their field. I'll have the 260 plus people I've had on my show. I'll take that with me. But no, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I take those breaks too. Back in the day, I used to be like, no, I have to do Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that shit. But now I'm like, hey, this show goes on break when all this is done.
Yeah,
We're taking a break. I'm going on vacation, which is me
right.
doing another show, but not doing that one.
Yeah. Well, that's what shorts are good for, right? If you make
Yeah.
shorts of your show, that's what you can implement. I mean, I know a lot of people have issue with shorts. Same with Rumble. Some people don't want
Mhm.
Rumble shorts, but at the end of the day, shorts can be seen as like a quick thing you can do. Just put up all that stuff, and that's 3 minutes, right? YouTube
Yeah.
is 3 minutes now. I don't know what TikTok is for their
I think they
shorts.
extended it. I think it might be 3 minutes too. I think I could be wrong.
I'll have to recheck. But I mean, if you want to take time off, like the easiest thing to do would just post shorts because
Mhm.
shorts are an easy thing to, especially if it's like IRL content. People like IRL content. You can do short stuff like that or whatever. But again, if you don't take care of yourself first, then all of this is meaningless. So there's that.
And the last thing I'll ask you, man, is do
Sure.
you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Oh, well, no. Well, thank you for having me on. Of course, this was
Yeah,
a pretty
anytime.
good one. Yeah, this is a pretty good one. And obviously to all those who came by and stopped to watch, thank you for being here. Hope to see you all tomorrow, at least for what Joe's doing it on my end. But again, just if you find what the MSK is doing is worth it to you, why not give them a follow? Beyond that, I hope you all have a great rest of your night and go from there.
Yeah, and make sure you guys go and subscribe to Daramouthe's YouTube channel and follow him on Rumble and follow him on X, actually. And thank you guys for checking out this episode of the MSK Show, and we'll see you guys later. Have a